Hi Martin, good afternoon.
Okay, thank you guys for having me to talk about empathy. I know I've spoken about it before, many so many times. But what I would like to talk about this evening is not just empathy as a scope. We want to look at empathy in terms of business. Why? Because that has to do with all our business we run. We have something to do with that business. But the point is, how does empathy affect our business? We're looking at two parts of it, which is in terms of how do we manage our teams, then how do we manage our products. They both need empathy. We all have products we sell, we build, we market, we want people to buy. Do we have empathy while we're building our product? Then in terms of empathy among our team members, that's why I have the video here for us to watch. The video is strong. It's by Tyler Perry. I've made a short video about it. From the beginning of the video to the end of it, it's so interesting. If you watch this video and it didn't bring out tears, you need to watch it again. I promise you. It's so empathetic that I've watched this movie up to like 5 times. And each time I watch it, I have something new I learn from it. I would like us to watch the video, but before that, if it's possible.
Is it not 47 minutes?
No, it's just 2 minutes. It's just 2 minutes we're going to watch. I just want us to watch a scene, about 2 or 3 scenes, and see what happened, and see what we can learn from it. But before we watch it, if you guys have your phone on, I would like us to do a short assessment. I have an app that I developed, which is empathy.proja.com. Let's also do the assessment in terms of the business. Then it will allow.
What is the full name?
Empathy.proja.com. Empathy.proja. Pro.
Proja.
Let's go.
P-R-O-J.
.com.
And which assessment was this?
The empathy business.
Proja.com.
Yes.
Empathy.proja.com. There you go. Choose your assessment. Personal business.
So let's try. It's just 12 questions. It's not about
Which one? Personal?
no, the business.
Okay. I think I did this before.
Yeah, I put it on it. I put it on
Oh, I know the, sorry, so it's our person.
Yes.
Okay, and then for personal or business?
Business.
Okay.
I think next time we look at empathy in personal life. So that for now, what's important to us is more of empathy in business. A lot of us, we have our products. I realize that a lot of people really need to understand how they can fine-tune empathy to their product and have a product that people really need. But this has to do with empathy in their personal lives. Okay, so let me play the video now.
I'm sorry, ma'am, you can't buy some of these items with a gift card. Bitch, I do this all the time. I don't know who did it for you, but we not allowed to. What you doing, Rick Police or something? I'm gonna need $38 and 28 cents. $38? Fuck you, give me my card, come on.
But, look at this up. You're gonna just wait for a slip and fall. Hurry up, hurry up! She'll be right back, y'all. She'll be right back.
Did that bitch come true? No, it's okay. How is she? Baby's fine. Here, take it. No, I can't take that from you. You really making it yourself. I can spare it. It'll help out
It's
with
for called straw, is it?
Yes.
Pretty, I think it's on Netflix.
I feel like I've seen the clip before. It must be
So let me call it there. I know that's because it's, there are actually two scenes, but this relates to us. The second one is also important, but for now, let's go with this. I hope you would understand the video. What happened? Let me explain. The lady has had busy days. That's what happened. I didn't play that part. So she had a child and she was even kicked out of the house. And she went to school, she went to work. She dropped the child at school and went to work. Ready to work, the lady had the till. They went to buy something with the government card. Then she didn't allow that because the shop wouldn't pay for all. Then the guy smashed the bottle. Then when the boss came, he didn't even ask for her. But that's it about that. But I want to ask, based on the assessment we've done, what can we pick from the video that is not right, that happened in this thing?
Well, there's poor training to begin with. The way that the girl at the till may explain herself a bit more empathetic towards the customer, who was probably embarrassed and stressed about the creating scene and couldn't pay for groceries. And then the manager, his approach was all wrong. He should have been more empathic and more sympathetic and, you know, approach it in a different, more calm, understanding way, in my opinion.
What about yourself, Kevin? You like anything up in that industry?
Just what I say there, I think there was other things going on in the background. The lady who was trying to pay with a card, there was issues there that she needed for it to fulfill elsewhere a chain and that, you know. There's a way there. From a business point of view, as Greg says, the manager came out and we were talking about empathy. He never listened, he never asked what happened. He just says, he was rather rude by saying just, she'll be back. How did he know she'll be back? And it was very much overriding her feelings in relation to how she was feeling at that moment in time. Whereas if he had to give her a bit of empathy to see from where she was coming, or even ask the questions, what happened there, it would have been a different maybe scenario coming out there. So there was a lack of support, there was a lack of, there was no empathy because there was no listening, there was no, you know, so that was very strong for me there from the manager who owned the premises. And there was a wee bit of empathy from the girl telling the individual, we're not allowed to do it. She wanted to do it, wanted to take payment, but it was obviously she was under a regime that she couldn't do it. But you could see a certain level of empathy with her through the interaction. That's what I would pick up on that.
You know, I agree with that, right?
Yeah.
You know what? When I watched this video, I had only one point I could tell you. That's why sometimes it's good to share with people. You'll be shocked what you're going to get. Thank you, Lord. We see from different dimensions, different angles. And this is what I always tell people. It's not always good to be opinionated. Because you only have one mindset, the other person has the other mindset, and when you bring them together, you get the best out of it. I wish you guys can work. I wish we could have this session where it's like an all-day session. I've had it before, an all-day session, and we have to play this full to the people. Then you get the real concept. Just allow them to go through it. The reason is that when you work in an organization, in a company, like you said, the bosses, most times, I always tell people, they're not that empathetic. And the way they treat the workers, sometimes it's not really okay because they don't really understand that. They thought they're going to be productive by treating them that way. I was going through something today, they call it cultural intelligence. Sometimes you need to understand the people that work with you, understand what they go through. If we have to be emotional, culturally intelligent, that means understanding them is even smaller. Because understanding somebody's culture is going beyond your boundaries to an extent at work. So we have to look at it from a different dimension, especially if you want our business to grow. If some of us are growing our business, working with a team, it's the best. And I've worked in a place where the bosses were very empathetic when I was in Citibank. And those were the reasons why I didn't care leaving. Because I realized that I was working with a different company. And the company I was working with, I was sent there like a contractor. But now, when you're working with the team you're working with, sometimes the lady I was working with asked me one day, she said, John, do you think we're going to employ you? You're working so hard as if you're a full staff. But I believe that if I'm paid for work, I have to work hard. That's me. I don't mind how much I'm being paid. It's not about the money, it's about the passion. I choose things that I love doing. Then, it's not also nice when you start doing those things and your boss is not recognizing. So it's for us to, whatever capacity we work in an organization, let's try as much as we can to carry our team along. Like from the app, you realize that it talks about some questions that has to do with the team. When this thing happens, how do we react to it? I have a game I've created in the same app. I've not brought it out yet. It's going to be out very soon. The game is going to allow us to analyze the principles of emotion, which helps us with emotional intelligence. With emotional intelligence, I don't know how you guys understand empathy and emotional intelligence. Has anybody looked at it that way?
I do all the time.
Okay.
And it comes back to the basis actually of we have done the trend. So we were forced to look at and start trying to understand things from another angle and just open my eyes to the whole world from a point of view of how you have to just come down to the level of the person that there is in front of you to get empathy for them. So it is like this morning, the third day at school, it was a simple thing is that there was no teddy cable that lost last night. And it was probably me that lost it. But it was not that, but you couldn't force her to do something, it was all okay. But I suppose one of the questions I have for you, John, is that the way the world is changing at the moment, corporate structures, is empathy seems to be forced. I worked in a company there for 6 months, an American company, and the corporate structure is trying to force empathy by things like badge programs and everything else. How do you see that? What are like companies forcing people to think that they're like empathetic?
I think it's complicated because I would call it hypocrisy. Because they are forcing you to be empathetic. But in real sense, they're not really empathetic to you.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, that's why in my book, it's going to come out soon. I put there, you still have to put empathy in check.
Okay.
Because it's, as much as it's good to show empathy, if you don't put it in check, people are going to take advantage of you. Your bosses want you to be very empathetic to them. Based on the capacity you work in, the material level, dealing with customers, you need to be empathetic. You need to learn it. Dealing with customers. Like when a good example is if I'm building this phone now, this phone, if I need people to use it, I need to make sure that it has functions that it needs. It works with them. They need to love it. They need to name it. They need to like it. They need to want to have it. So I need to build it with empathy.
And like I was just at people that said, that's a stupid thing to do. And I was like, well, how are you going to, that's so unproductive. You need to sort of work in a way that, breaks things down and they can understand it. So when I work, I would be saying to them, like, do you understand that? Is there any questions that you want? Is there any questions that you want to ask? Or have you got any feedback? Because I remember like we would be so delicate. I remember one guy actually ended up in a hospital. The hospital under pressure that he was bringing his laptop in. He was very sick. And there was no empathy at all, like my colleagues, because they were like, we should move him to do something. Like, he hasn't told us that he's in hospital. Nobody's come back, and say that. That's because they're scared. They're scared to come back and say, no, this person can't do this. But like, they're so keen to help. Understand perspective.
Right. And I think one question just arises.
Could I just ask you a question? Two things that have been touched on here by others. I think it goes back to an organisation point of view, empathy, leadership, and culture in an organisation. Have you done any work at that level so that I also believe you will get good people in organisations, and I've met them, and some of them show more empathy than others, and more awareness around mental health issues in the workplace, more support at a lower level in the organisation. But the higher you go up, there seems to be a lack of appreciation and awareness around those issues. And I think empathy failing to be a key thing. And also, to add to that point, I think a lot of it starts with yourself as a person. Never mind going into the world of work, is that once you understand yourself as a person, that plays out in the way you manage, the way you do the work, and the way you interact with people. And I think that's one of the key things. But have you done any at that leadership, culture, and empathy?
Yeah. So, it's a very good question. If the one you came to leadership level, the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, there is this thing we call empathy map. If you guys remember the last time we had a discussion here, I spoke about it. It's also in my book. I had empathy map is what one thing you can use to understand what your client needs. With empathy map, you can ask them a series of questions. It's just a map. You still a very good example is somebody wants to build a product.
Yeah.
In software development, it's very difficult to build certain products. Why? Because a client is asking to do something, they don't really know what's going to be the outcome of it. They don't know. A client that wants to build a software, he's in finance or health sector. So, like the empathy map, the good thing about it is what we use in project management to understand what the client needs. So the map, you put it there, you ask them a series of questions. How do they feel about the product? What are they saying about the product? This question you ask them will allow you to understand what does the client actually need. Because you're giving them the product, they want to create the product, you're selling the product, solving the problem like you said. If you don't know how they feel, what they say, what they think, you need to understand what they think with the questions. Ask them questions that they can tell you what they are saying. Leading questions, they're going to tell you more about what they feel, which allow you to know if they've done it before, if they've not done it before, what have they done with the product, and Have they done something with the product? So this question allows you to be more empathetic with the client. When it comes to software development, it's so hard. Like there are softwares that we've created recently, like there are some on association. We have to go into the association, understand what the problems are, what are people saying about them, what are people thinking about it. Then that brings us to bear to be more empathetic with them. So when we create the product for them, it will be what they need. They will need it, they will love it. If we don't put empathy in our product, it's going to be very hard for people to love it and business. And in leadership level too. When I was in, actually, for me to talk about empathy today is based on my personal experience. Yeah, I speak about empathy because when I went through my own ordeal, it's at the hospital. You take somebody to the hospital to be taken care of. The medical team that are supposed to attend to the person, they left the person alone till like maybe midnight. Okay. I came in the morning and she was telling me that I was on the way. She told me that she lost the baby. Then I went to the hospital. I requested to see what happened. I wanted to see the file, to see what happened. And they showed me the file. Somebody that has been in the hospital by 7 p.m. Then by 15 minutes to 12, that was the only time they attended to her. And the baby heartbeat was still breathing. But a few minutes after, the baby heartbeat stopped beating. And the next day, she also passed away. So you see, it's something about, when you talk about empathy, it's more of, not just from the top. We take it from bottom to top. But if empathy is in the top, if the top management shows empathy to the bottom people, it will be easy for them to do, but they don't show them empathy. It's not like the nurse doesn't want to take care of her. No, I don't think so. I think it's the policies and the way they run things, which is not proper. So I think this empathy needs to go around. Even teaching people as we are here, we all have to be considerate of empathy. Let them understand that you can save lives. You can save our business. You can save our team. You can go your own way. I think that's it.
Brilliant. Thank you.